Hi, I'm David Huboi, co-chairman of the Green Business Committee of the San Benito County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to Going Green, a television show brought to you by the Chamber to promote economic vitality along with environmental sustainability. To fulfill this commitment, the Chamber supports meeting present needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. Today we will hear from Nancy Wahl-Scheurich, the CEO and founder of Little Footprint Company of Santa Cruz, talking about green lighting and more, then Richard Stedman, who is an air pollution officer for the Monterey Bay Area, and last we will have Gary Lieber, the co-founder of the San Francisco BayLEAFs, an association of all electric vehicle owners. Our first guest is Nancy Wahl-Scheurich of Little Footprint. Nancy, welcome to Going Green.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I want to give you a little background about Nancy. She has 25 years experience in international sales and marketing and has held key roles in international product management in the software industry. And she started up the U.S. sales for the United Kingdom-based SDL Ltd., now one of the world's leadest localization companies. She served as Vice President for International Sales at General LED and has been self-employed consultant tasking on assignments from international product and corporate account management. She's taught marketing classes at Cal State Monterey Bay for 6 years and is a lead AP and a member of the United States Green Building Council, which is great. And she has a Bachelor of Arts in Inter-American Studies and French and a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration at the University of Pacific. She has a Master of Science degree in marketing from Cal State University, Long Beach, and is founder of Little Footprint Lighting, a Santa Cruz company that produces energy savings LED desk lamps from electronic waste. All right, so let's begin by, perhaps you can tell us about your product and what makes it so special.
I'm happy to. So our product's called the Heron LED Personal Task Light. You can tell from the name that it's an LED lamp, which means that it saves a lot of energy. This desk lamp only uses 4 watts of electricity, but you get the same light output that you would get from a 30 to 40 watt incandescent bulb, so you're saving 7 to 10 times the electricity that you would be using if you used an incandescent. But our real claim to fame, aside from that, is that the entire body of the desk lamp is actually made from recycled plastic that comes from e-waste, and that's why I have these bowls of garbage here. We actually start out, we work with a company that can take the various types of plastics that are in e-waste, and e-waste is chopped up computers and printers and cell phones and refrigerators and stoves, pretty much anything you plug in that then ends up in a landfill.
It's getting quite ubiquitous with the new technology
everywhere.
these days.
Yeah, and it's been very difficult to recycle because it's got all different kinds of plastic in it, and when you want to make something from a plastic, you need a particular type of plastic. So the company that we get our recycled ABS from has come up with a technology to separate out the different types of plastic in e-waste. And so we have these bowls here to just kind of show some of the major steps that it goes through. But basically it starts out like this. They chop everything up. You get to a point where this is just chopped up different types of plastic. There's still little bits of metal in there. They haven't purified it that much. Goes through a bunch more steps. It ends up as this, which is called purified ABS flake, and that's just ABS plastic, which is the kind that we want to use again. And it goes through more steps and gets purified, and it finally ends up as this resin, which is what we injection mold and make into the parts of the lamp. The other cool thing about our product is that it's got, I'm going to turn this off so it doesn't shine. The metal base on the bottom is made in USA steel. It's actually 70% scrap, so that's a higher recycled content than typical steel. We worked hard to get that. And the entire thing is made in the US. We get our e-waste, recycled e-waste from a company in California. We do the injection molding and assembly in California. The steel bases come from California City. The bulbs come from Vermont, which is not China, and most of them do come from China. So we're really, really proud of that. So we've worked really hard to make it in the USA, make it really good, and
So then it's,
Yeah.
I can say then, correctly say that the whole process and the lamp itself is all from the United States of America.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
There are a few components in there that you cannot get made here. I tried, but we've done everything that we could to get source as much as we could from the U.S. And then, like I said, we made the whole thing here.
Okay, great. And for the viewers, LED stands for light emitting diode, and it does get quite a substantial energy savings.
Yeah.
And my understanding, we were talking earlier, it doesn't really emit a lot of heat.
No, that's a big, one of the other really good advantages to LED lighting, aside from the fact that it uses so little power to create such great light. It creates very, very little heat. So this has been on for an hour. I'm touching this, it'll never burn me.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine in a commercial environment where you have lots of lights, when you're using traditional halogens or other incandescents, that adds to the heat, which means you need to use more air conditioning. So buildings that are using LED lighting save not only from the lighting savings, but also from the less amount of air conditioning that they have to use.
How long did it take you to come up with this idea for the product?
The idea came pretty fast. Getting it to market took a long time. The way I came up with the idea, actually, I was taking my class to become a lead AP. And when I went in there, the purpose of my becoming lead AP was really to understand where LEDs fit into lead. We knew that somehow they must, because lead had something to do with saving energy, but we didn't really know what.
Yeah.
This is when I was at the other LED company that I worked for. So I went in the class not really knowing anything, started to understand that lead involves points under different categories. And so we learned about the category of energy and atmosphere, which you would get a point for saving energy by using LED lighting. Then I found out there was a point for using recycled materials. And then I found out that there was a point for giving everybody control over their own lighting, which is solved by giving them a desk lamp. And so I was like, why isn't anybody making an LED desk lamp out of recycled plastic? And that's where the idea came from.
And for the viewers, LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. So who are your customers then? Who do you cater to on this?
We're obviously targeting consumers who care about the environment and who want a really good light. We call them maybe the Prius owners out there. That would be like the easy sell for us. But we're also targeting the hospitality industry, and we've had a lot of interest from hotels, because most hotels now are really needing to improve their green credentials for their corporate customers. The government is another target market, as well as people like you, architects, people involved in green building, lighting designers, et cetera, who would want to design good energy-saving lighting in buildings.
My final question is, how much does it cost?
It's cost $225, suggested retail.
Great, wonderful. Is there a website that you would like to share with the viewers?
Yes. www.lfplighting.com. LFP Lighting, all one word.
Well, thank you for coming on the show, Nancy. It was great having you on.
Thanks very much.
Best of luck to you and Little Footprint Lighting.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, you're welcome. Hey, you're back watching Going Green, and I'm David Huboi. I'm a certified green building professional and a licensed architect. And with me on the set today is Richard Stedman, who is currently the Air Pollution Control Officer for the Monterey Bay Unified Air Pollution Control District. And reading Richard's bio here is very extensive, and I really don't have time to go through it all, but I have my first question for you, okay? For the sake of brevity, I just want to ask you, with this extensive portfolio in clean air management, what drove your passion to begin this path?
Well, that's a really great question. First of all, let me thank you for having me on your show. I'm really honored to be here. To get to your question, all the roads, when I started out my career in public health, and all the roads with significant environmental exposures led to air quality management. So I was doing a lot of hazardous materials management. I started off inspecting water systems and that sort of thing, but really where there's a lot of exposure and health consequences is in the field of air pollution or air quality management. A good example is you can go buy bottled water if you have bad drinking water. You cannot go buy bottled air if you can't breathe or if you have really polluted air. So we have to clean up the air in situ where we live, and so that was really my calling, and my background in education and all my job pointed to that career path, and it's been very fulfilling and rewarding.
Great, well stated. Tell us about the Monterey Bay Unified Air Pollution Control District. What services does the organization provide?
So we're a regulatory enforcement agency. We cover 3 counties, San Benito, Monterey, and Santa Cruz. The agency was established originally back in 1965, so it predates the Clean Air Act, Federal Clean Air Act, and certainly California Clean Air Act. Then it was unified with all 3 counties in 1968. The agency is in charge of planning, enforcement, permitting, anything from a power station, Moss Landing Power Plant, for instance, down to gas stations. We regulate those sources. We make sure that they have what's called best available control technology to reduce emissions and are engineered so that we don't have air pollution. A lot of these types of businesses and facilities emit air pollution. It's just the way they do business. So we make sure that they can clean it up so that it does not cause significant health impacts.
So if I'm a citizen and I see a smokestack, with billowing toxic smoke, and I call your organization, how do you handle these complaints?
So we can do it, if you call us, we'll assign it to an inspector. If it's an emergency, we'll coordinate with 911 and dispatch to make sure that other response personnel arrive to the scene. But we respond to all of our complaints, whether we'll get back to somebody by phone, we'll go out and do an investigation many times. Sometimes we had a complaint at night that my neighbor's burning. It's doubtful that we could see the smoke at night, so we would do up a follow-up investigation. And I would say that we use the carrot and stick approach. Education is primarily what we do. So we would go out to a neighborhood or a business and inform them that we've received complaints and we would like to see the practice changed if it's related or resulting in any kind of air emissions. And then if that doesn't take place, then we have the stick we use, and we have a lot of enforcement powers with penalties and fines and sanctions.
Yeah. And speaking of air pollution in San Benito County, are there any unique issues?
San Benito poses a pretty amazing challenge for us. And it's primarily because of our neighbors to the north and inland. We get a lot of air pollution from the Bay Area and from San Joaquin Valley. That comes up the mountain and hits a monitor site that we have in the Pinnacles National Monument. And we exceed the state ambient standard for ozone. So the health standard for ozone is exceeded at that site. Consequently, right now, the whole county of San Benito gets painted with that brush of non-attainment. However, we do monitor in Hollister and some of the more populated cities, and we have acceptable air quality levels there.
And I noticed on your website you have a smoke management program. Maybe
Yes.
you can briefly tell us what that is.
Well, in San Benito, Monterey, and Santa Cruz counties, we have a lot of agriculture. So we do have folks that will burn off parts of their field, green waste and that sort of thing, and that's allowable under state and our rules. However, we want to make sure it's done on days where the smoke does not get trapped close to the ground and cause health consequences. We like to see dispersion of the pollutants, so they'll contact us, make sure that it's a good day to burn, and they'll be allowed to burn. We also are working extensively now in Santa Cruz, primarily San Lorenzo Valley. We're monitoring smoke there during the winter. It's just a really nasty place. We have really high concentrations of wood smoke from outdoor burning, residential burning, and also from fireplaces at night. And we're working, we've got a wood stove buyback program, and we're now updating our outdoor rule dealing with outdoor burning. So we're really trying to address that problem head on. It's been going on for a while, but we think we can start seeing improvement in the San Lorenzo Valley.
And speaking of improvement, are there grants and incentives? I understand that.
Most definitely. The agency has about a $13.5 million budget a year. About half of that amount is given away to utility or municipalities and counties in the form of grants. We also do some public-private partnerships. We have paid for retrofitting and replacement of tractors and devices particularly diesel types of mobile sources that emit diesel particulate matter. We've retrofitted those and changed those out with grant monies. And yeah, we have a lot of grant money to get away, primarily looking at reducing emissions from mobile sources, things on wheels.
Just have one question, is if I can get a couple sentence answer. To those that say that, you know, that regulation drives out business from the state of California, what would you say?
Well, of course, I'm going to be a little biased, but I'm going to say that yes, we are pretty heavily regulated in California, especially in air quality, but there's a reason for that. And the reason is because we've got pretty severe problems up and down the coast of California. And California has actually been really good at providing new industries, new incentives to new industries to do the clean thing and go green.
All right, well, is there a website that you want to share with the viewers? If they
Yes,
want to
our
find out
website is montereybaycleanair.org, and that's all one word.
Richard, thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, David.
You're very welcome. You are back watching Going Green, and this show is sponsored by the San Benito County Chamber of Commerce. And with me on the set now is Gary Lieber, and give you a little background about Gary. He's co-founder of the San Francisco BayLEAFs. Gary has a long career as a Silicon Valley tech executive for companies such as Apple and Microsoft. And as an automobile enthusiast, Gary is an active member of the Western Automobile Journalists Association. He is a contributor to many automotive blogs and sites. His interest is the intersection of the environment, automobiles, and machine intelligence, and how the relationship affects 21st century society. And Gary is the San Francisco BayLEAFs official liaison to Nissan North America. Hey Gary, welcome to Going Green.
Hi, how are you?
Good
to be here.
You. Yeah, and I want to tell the viewers that I saw Gary there at the South County Earth Day where they had a display of the Nissan Leaf, and there were other Nissan Leaf owners there, and perhaps you can begin by telling us about the San Francisco BayLEAFs and the mission and the purpose behind the organization.
Sure. Well, San Francisco BayLEAFs, we're the largest owners association of Nissan Leafs in the United States and probably the world right now. We have almost 300 members in our association, our club, and the Nissan Leafs, the largest number of Nissan Leafs are in the San Francisco Bay Area. There's about 3,000 Nissan Leafs. The Leaf, of course, is an all-electric vehicle. It's been on the market for about 2 years now, and it has just been a really, really fine automobile to drive and to own.
Yeah, great. And let's talk a little bit about the Nissan all-electric plug-in vehicle and its features such as its range and cost savings. I understand for the viewers, the name, the Leaf, is kind of a contrived acronym called a backronym that stands for Leading Environmentally Friendly Affordable Family Car. So
that's
we
correct.
can talk about the features about the Leaf.
That's correct. Well, the Leaf is a full-size car. It's actually, well, it's a mid-size car actually. It seats 5 actually, has a big cargo area in the back. My wife likes to say that the rear hatch, the seats fold down and all, and it's a 10 compost bag trunk so that it holds a lot.
Yeah.
It's a fully electric car. It has the batteries in it, has a 24 kilowatt battery pack in it that's underneath the seats.
Lithium battery.
Lithium ion batteries. It has chargers on it that will go, comes with anything from a charger that will plug into a regular 110 volt outlet, takes about 12 hours to charge up there. It also has something called a level 2 charger that's a 240 volt or 220 volt plug, and it will charge up in about 4 hours there. And it also has another plug that's called a level 3 charger that will plug in, and it will charge it from a completely depleted battery to full charge in 30 minutes or less.
Right, wow. And I know I talked to one of the car owners at the Earth Day, and he had a charger that was solar powered.
Yes.
So let's talk about the cost savings then compared to a fuel-driven vehicle. What kind of cost savings do you get?
Well, it's really phenomenal. We drive our car, it's actually my wife's car, and she drives it as a normal commute car. She puts on about 50 to 70 miles a day on the car. We live in South San Jose down by Morgan Hill, and she drives up to Fremont where her office is. On average, we put about 1,500 miles a month on the car, and it's been costing us in electricity between $35 and $45 a month to drive that 1,500 miles. So that's quite a savings right there.
I'll say.
Yeah.
And also we have to talk about the cost of the vehicle itself. What do these vehicles run for?
Well, they start at about $33,000. There's two levels of trim. One is about $33,000, the other one's about $37,000. But there are federal and state incentives that knock the price down. There's a state incentive that is about $2,500, and then that's a cash rebate that the state sends you. And then there's a federal tax credit that's $7,500. So it ends up that the net cost of the car ends up being between $26,000, $27,000, something like that.
Right.
So it's about the same price as it's a very, very fully equipped car. I mean, it's not a stripper. It's got very, very nice seats and LED headlights and tail lights, and it's even got a solar panel in the roof that keeps the car charged. That keeps the accessory battery charged when the car is just sitting there.
Right.
So it's a very fully, well equipped car.
Yeah, it's a nice design. And let's talk about the sustainability of the car. How long do these, like for example, the battery, and how long does that last before you have to replace it?
Well, the batteries are warranted for 8 years, and the batteries actually have a very, very long life because they're designed to be, in fact, the entire car is designed to be 100% recyclable. For example, and much of the car is made from recycled materials. For example, the seat covers are made from recycled pop bottles, as the carpet is, and stuff like that. The batteries are actually designed that after they have their life in the automobile is ended, then they can be repurposed for things like backup power supplies in computer server farms and things of that sort. So it's very, very sustainable design that after the parts are at the end of their life as an automobile, then they can be used for other things as well.
Great.
And in fact, in Japan, they actually have systems now that will allow the Leaf to be plugged into your home and to be used as a backup power source in case there's an emergency. In fact, you could run your entire house on the Leaf's battery pack for 3 days.
Amazing. Let's go back to, I mentioned the bio about the intersection of machine intelligence and automobiles. There are automobiles called autonomous vehicles. Maybe you could tell the viewers what those are and maybe if they're part of our future.
Well, it is. That's one of the things that really has intrigued me about technology and automobiles in general is that as the kinds of things that we've pioneered here in Silicon Valley, in computers and consumer electronics, they're now finding their way into automobiles as well. Wouldn't it be nice if we could, when we're stuck in traffic, if we could just push a button or give a voice command that says, "Take me home," and we wouldn't have to worry about talking on the phone or texting or checking the internet for this or that and the other. And the car would have the smarts to keep you going and not bump into anyone and be aware of its surroundings.
Yeah.
Well, that's the work that's being done here in the Valley right now. Google, of course, is leading the charge in that. And every other major manufacturer of automobiles has got an R&D facility here in the Valley. Ford, GM, Toyota, Nissan, Volkswagen, the list goes on and on and on, Chrysler. Everyone is tapping into the talent here. And of course, Silicon Valley has become the focus of electric vehicle manufacturing, with Tesla now delivering their vehicles as well.
Great, what a future in store for us. The more they can get on the freeway, the less freeways we have to build.
Exactly.
Well, Gary, I just want to thank you so much for coming on our show today. And
well, thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome, and best of luck to you and Bay Area, San Francisco BayLEAFs.
BayLEAFs.
Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you.
You're watching Going Green. In summary of this show, we talked with Richard Stedman from the Monterey Bay Area Unified Pollution Control District and regulation measures for a healthy environment. And in response to that regulation, we had Nancy Wahl-Scheurich with her LED Huron desk lamp, and creative technology that was presented with Gary Lieber with the Nissan all-electric plug-in electric vehicle. So we can see that creative things can be done with technology to respond to the regulation measures. And I want to thank you guys for watching Going Green, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you next time. Let's stay on a creative green path for a healthy future.